Hello, good morning, good morning. Let's see what is new. Paid spaces with indicators and strategies from our community. Nice. Yeah, look at gold right now. It's kind of it's not trending, no daily bias. We're all just kind of waiting over here. No volume, but the way it looks, holy, it kind of looks like it can dump over here, doesn't it? Look at this. Got some pretty nice rejection wicks. If this daily candlestick here flips, I gotta flip and then kind of come down a little bit more. I think that would be really nice for a sell idea. Need to re-break the daily lows and then keep pushing just a little bit and then try catch a sell by around maybe like 41.53. Start to get a little bit more direction in. In terms of the buys, I mean, fundamentally, I don't think anything's changed, right? Gold rises, poised for weekly gains on softer dollar. This week, gold has done well, and it's mainly because of a bit of weakening of the dollar and also speculative flows coming in, expecting the Fed to lower interest rates. However, the US government has opened, and because of all these slowdown and inflation fears, the expectations shifted slightly to that the Fed might not be looking to cut rates aggressively, and this could cause a slight pullback on gold prices. Ooh, nice. That's what we kind of want to see, you know? If we can get like a slight pullback here today for Freaky Friday, I think that would be nice. However, the US government has opened Okay, nothing much here. Traders are currently pricing in a 51% probability. Damn, it went even lower this time. It's going lower. 51% probability of a quarter-point rate cut next month, down from 64% in the previous session. Damn, Daniel. What's going on here? And then the same time gold is moving up. It's kind of funny, you know? Let's double check this with our super secret indicator here. Oh, it's even at 49.6%. Holy. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to get those all-time highs at this rate. So close. It's like, you know, when you're going to jump and you're almost going to catch something here. You're almost going to catch something like in the movies and then you just fall to your death. No. That's exactly what's going on here, chat. Because, you know, the only way I'm seeing us get to the all-time highs, honestly, I feel like it has to be those rate cuts. We have to get those probabilities up, you know? That's the only way that we can start tapping into 4400 psychological mark. Nice to see y'all in the chat. Woods, Ricardo, Architect. What's good, everybody? Daniel in here, Mr. Rashid, FX Champ. Let's go. The Doctor, Jane, Ahmed. Welcome, welcome, bro. Let me see what you said. Daily 1:30 p.m. You're live. Bro, you're a most disciplined trader. Hats off. Thank you, thank you. Yesterday, gold licked my SL, bro. $100 loss, capital wash, but I learned. Perfect. Yeah, I think that's the best thing that could have happened to you because now you've saved yourself a lot of time, you know, because that was going to be a lesson that you're going to learn later. So would you rather learn that lesson later or would you rather learn that lesson now? You know, for me, I would say if there was a lesson I was supposed to learn, let me just take the loss. You know, postpone the wins for now. Let me just take that loss. Let me learn from that loss because I don't want to like waste time. I don't want to learn it later. You know what I mean? So I think, yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty damn good. Losses are more valuable than a win. A win feels good, but a loss is there for longevity. A win is only here for, you know, today. Yeah, 1 hour shotgun was in play also. There was a really good move from order flow. That was the start of the move down. But I was not at the charts. I was doing morning routine. I set myself for just not to wake up and come onto the charts. Amazing. Yeah, I think that's really good. I also used to do that at some point. I realized my health was not so good just waking up and coming onto the charts, right? Because when you're in that learning phase as well, especially when you've been like really absorbed in all that trading information and, you know, there's a lot more effort. your health does take a bit of a hit if that's all you do in the morning. You wake up straight to the charts, especially because I used to trade like Asia session, so it's been like not good, not good enough sleep, and it's like opening your phone first thing in the morning. So I think like it's really good to set yourself like a small little routine so you can be a bit of stable, a little bit stable, a little stable. But like I think later on it's fine because later on it's like now you build the capacity and you kind of like have your routine, like what you're looking for in the markets. So it's a little bit easier to just wake up and get onto the charts because you're not really studying so intensively, you're not backtesting so intensively, so it's like a little bit more manageable later. But I think it's pretty good. What was your bad trade yesterday? Oh, this was a sell idea. Oh, man, I thought it would be a good sell, but I think I rushed the trade. I think that's what happened. I took a trade like I think that was like pre-NY 622. Yeah, pre-NY, and then a price moved to TP2, but I didn't close because I was looking for 2%. I think I saw like about 800, 900, and then it started pulling back up. Then I'm like, okay, whatever. Let me just hold my trade, and then it hit my stop loss. Yeah. It's been a slow November for me. You can see I'm only up like 4%. The reason is because I've been quite busy in November. So you see how this kind of affects your trading as well, right? When you're very busy, when you have distractions. But I should be good from next week. From next week, I should be back at it 100%. But I've been mad consistent the whole year, like literally every single month this whole year. So it's bound to happen, It's bound to happen, some distractions from real life. But yeah, it should be good by next week again. Yeah, so I'm gonna see what I can catch here today. Maybe I'm looking for them sells. Some sells would be nice. What do you think of the 1 minute now? Oh, this distribution over here. I think there was one on the pre-London time. There's this one sell off over here. I don't know if you guys caught it. There was one right over here. Boom, boom, boom. Nice little push. About like 100 pips over there. Some light. But that's about it. And then there's one that's just currently playing out right here too. You can see it. That's to the downside right now. But there's just no like the daily is just kind of at 0.07. I mean, you could still theoretically take the trade. It just means mixed bias, right? It just means either the buys or the sells could play out when it says waiting. But if you want that like extra confirmation, then just wait for the daily bias to flip bearish. Just a pullback or consolidation for new ATH on your account, eh? Yes, exactly. Just small consolidation. Just waiting on the breakout so we can be free. A breakout is like you're breaking out of prison. Freedom. So I can be free from these reality obligations. Because trading, man, I think in trading, we get very withdrawn from reality when it comes to trading. We have all our ambitions, goals, all like on the chart. We leave it out all on the chart, right? So it's kind of like it's like a different world, right? It's a gamer, for example, when a gamer plays video games, they put themselves in an immersive world, right? You're in your own world. So with trading, you're also kind of in your own world. Then you ever try talk to people about trading? Like you go out with your friends and they ask you what you do and you try explain to them what you do and you're like, it's like your own world. They're like, what is that? It's like explaining gaming to a non-gamer, basically. Can I get this journal? Yeah, you can download in the description box. Just send in a request and we'll have somebody look at that. Yeah, I do work out, then eat, then mark the charts. I start trading. I need this because I'm too impulsive. Too impulsive, so correction this at least doing for 2 months. I was looking for a statistic of second account combined to copy trade between fund. You know what's funny? the way you're gonna do your workout and then you're gonna eat because you feel like you're too impulsive is the same thing that I do, but with sleep. I sleep like if I wake up a bit earlier, I try and like stay in bed until I come onto the charts until I need to be on the charts. Because I know if I wake up early and I come onto the chart, I'm gonna take that trade that I shouldn't trade. You know, I'm gonna be more impulsive. That's why this week I've been catching, I feel like kind of lows. I've been catching kind of lows and catching kind of like, yeah, pretty much lows because like price would give me like one push before the time that I want to be on the chart and then it would give me my move later. Then the move later would have been a cleaner move, but I was impulsive because I was already on the chart. So you see that timing aspect also is going to affect like if you're going to catch the pullback or if you're going to catch the continuation. So everything is like very thought through. How London is going to open, how I'm expecting the trade to play through. So it's not like just a gamble. Because I think some people, they just kind of like gamble, you know. But I think one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to increase by maybe 5 minutes before the stream starts to catch the moves because I noticed like, I think it was this or last week, but there's been a couple plays which are happening like a few minutes before the stream opens up. So I'm going to adjust it like 5 minutes before stream starts. I'm already going to be on execution mode. Because what I've noticed is these moves happen at the perfect area, but they're breaking before London opens. And then by the time London opens, it's already kind of moved. So I think like if you're going to notice something in the market, you got to like adjust, you know? You got to adapt. Because if you don't adapt, it's going to happen to you again. That's the thing. You got to see something happen like twice. I'm like, okay, there's something going on here. I see a little correlation. So let me next time be ready for that correlation. And you know, this whole thought process started when I started looking out for, before when I used to trade, I always used to have like one bias. I used to try and have one bias. So if I was looking for sells, it would just be sells, right? But then at the same time, price would move the opposite direction. So I started asking myself, if I'm going to look for a sell and the sell doesn't play out, how am I going to now catch the buy position? Then I started now plotting both my buy and sell ideas. You know, so these are like just small things along your journey, which kind of, they're like stepping stones to building good habits, like adapting to markets. Yeah, little stepping stones. Are you going to be live at that point? Yeah, I'm going to be live. I'm going to be live. I'll just start it sooner. I've been answering some questions in chat. We'd love for you to check them, so I'm not talking up my ass. Oh yeah, no, I saw them, but it's pretty good. I've already responded to those questions on the support channel. You know, we got like actual official support channels for that. I don't know why people don't use them. There's literally like a support channel, exclusive support channel on Discord and on the WAP database, but people still use the chat where like no one's gonna see those messages. You know, it's kind of weird. You got to use the support channels. They're there for a reason, you know. That's your VIP access. You know, if you go to the airport and you can go on like VIP lounge, why would you want to stay in the restaurant, in the commoners restaurant? Why would you stay in the commoners restaurant when you got a VIP pass to a lounge? You know, you got your buffet over there, you got everything there. You got to use VIP access, sir. Let me see what's going on here. I think the music. All right, let's see. Maybe price is going to move up here. Start to break above these highs. Maybe get a bullish continuation on this Freaky Friday. Oh, this is Giorios. Hello, Giorios. Welcome, welcome. There's a chat as well. If you're still navigating Discord, if you go on your top right-hand side, you're going to see like a chat bubble. So you can go and show chat. I think, you know, like people just find, I think Discord very difficult to navigate. I understand it because like the first time I used Discord, I was also kind of finding it a bit difficult to navigate, you know, but I think you're gonna start getting used to it quite fast. Can you explain the SMA indicator? Yeah, just watch the stream, you know, watch the stream for like a month and you're gonna start to like watch how the indicators behave with your trades. But essentially what it is if you get a trade like this and the indicators cross, that's a volume signal. So the mouth is either gonna look like this, bullish, or the mouth is gonna look like this, bearish. Or if you get an indicator right on top of a candle like this, that's a kiss of death. That just pushes again volume. So it's just a volume awareness tool. Are you in a trade? Nope. I haven't taken a trade today. Have I? No. I haven't taken any trades today. It's like Goldie's waking up again. Goldie's waking up. Siren break structure. It's a little breakout play right here. Little accumulation breakout to the upside. It's trying to break. Just gotta wait for the direction. Come on, Goldie. Can we see direction? Woke up to 1,100 TP, hit 4205 in the Asia session. Nice. 1,100 pounds TP. I feel like Goldie's like making a accumulation here to break out. Looks like that first breakout that was a fail. Come back down that one. Small little grab as it's still trying to pick the direction. Because I think it could dump. Like today could still dump. It's still picking the direction. It needs to move from this zone here. I have a feeling like if we dump, it's gonna look really nice. Like the sell is gonna be beautiful. Off that daily resistance, how we got those rejection wicks. And also the news with the rate decisions, the rate cuts reducing. I think that would be a nice catalyst. I don't know if you see a bit, but before that dump daily, we had no daily wick, so it could come down just to do that. See how that weekly looks. This is Monday. So we got Monday bull run. This is Monday right here. Yeah, this is Monday. So that's where the week has started. Down here, created a new high. And now we're just kind of hovering within this area. We've been predominantly bullish, definitely this week though. Boom. Maybe we might see some pullbacks. But if price moves up, it moves up. So we just gotta see how can we take a buy if price continues to move bullish. How can we take the buy? Got support over here. Got some resistance up over here. 117 pip range. We could see more buys at that 15-minute candle closes above. Oh, yeah, that's struggling here with that. Is that 8 or 50? But yeah, if we close above, that could be a good sign. We have like a nice, how many pip range is this? Like about 97 pips towards 41.94. Yeah, definitely needs to get out of this zone. Looks like that was a small little liquidity grab above here. Small little whip. Also, if you look at the way that candle went up, kind of like a overextended, you could say. You got overextended 5-minute candle over here. Then you get the next candle. Boom. Well, whatever direction I think it's gonna break properly, it's gonna be our direction at until like pre-New York Open. Because from NY session, the trend can change again. So if it breaks down, then we're looking for sells, correct? Up until pre-NY. Breaks up, we're looking for buys for the London session. Because you're trying to avoid this indecision right over here. See, it still breaks, doesn't respect it, comes back in. It could still break these lows and then come back in like this too. What happened yesterday? On our kill zones. Yesterday, because we ranged quite a lot yesterday for that London session time. I think you see better on the 5 minute, something a bit higher. Yeah, you see we ranged a lot, and then we were, I think, well, we're bullish. We were bullish, then we just ended up ranging up until the New York session opened. Looked like NY session here came in to give this buyers one more whip. One whip over here. You see, like very intentional, right? Like, why do you think, why would the market do this? Why right here? Exactly when the New York session opens. You know, this is not random. Right when the NY session opens up over here and then it pulls back down. So very intentional. Very intentional. I truly believe market efficiency. I don't believe markets are random. But yeah, you see this now, it's like melting, just completely melted off following that little grab above here. But you see, for the most part, it just ranged. It just ranged for London. This was London open right here. Boom, boom, boom. Range, 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 range. The moves already happened pre-London. You see, just with the London open, the move happened, and that was the move for London. And then it just like ranged. Range, liquidity grab. Boom, and then just completely melted. Boom, look at this, just melted, just completely melted. So here, got a nice little accumulation break to the downside. Boom, look at that, volume. Volume, where's that volume coming in from, chat? Whenever you're going to see these big moves, where is it coming in from? TFX concepts, come on now. See this? Also right over here. Where's the volume? Where's the point A? Where's it coming? Where's it starting from? Because like everything here is like 50-50. Yeah, you can catch a few trades, but when you start breaking key levels of support resistance wicks, then you know that direction should be following through. Just like here. Boom, boom, boom. Got maybe smaller ones in here too. It's completely waterfalled, and then yeah, now we're just chilling. Doesn't seem like there's much momentum. Market's kind of taking it easy. What happened to the background music? Oh, I thought it was playing. Let me put it on. I think some settings changed over there. How much consistency does affect my capital gain? All consistency. Because you gotta be... The way I look at it is every month you gotta be at least 90% of the time consistent. You're not gonna be 100% of the time, but at least 90% of the time you gotta try to be consistent. You gotta try to follow your rules. You're not gonna... You know, sometimes we revenge trade and we overtrade. So you're trying to limit those amount of trades in a month. And it's easy to do it if you focus on 1 or 2 trades a day. And you just focus on your risk, you know, making sure your risk is in check. But you will be able to easily track it if you're doing that. So every month, you know, maybe for me, on average, I will do 2 or 3 mistakes. You know, I maybe do like 2 or 3 mistakes each month, which I think is normal, you know. Some trades like I should not really have taken, and some trades I think I could have done better. Like on average, like 2 or 3. So you gotta see, like, also you gotta have the data for how often in a month do you break your rules? You know, you got to see this important data over here. Because imagine this, right? Imagine if you're going to start a budget. You got a budget and you say you're going to follow this budget, but then you're going to realize like every month there's always going to be some kind of miscellaneous expenses, right? So you got to track those miscellaneous expenses, because you can have a budget and then you're going to have miscellaneous expenses which you can't budget, right? It is kind of like more random. It could be based off of, you know, just like your comfort or emergencies, etc., etc. So that's going to be your data now to see how consistent you can be with your budget. Because it doesn't matter if you budget and your miscellaneous costs are like a lot higher than everything else. Like all that other data doesn't even make sense at that point, because you're still overspending, correct? So you gotta treat your consistency and your psychology like a miscellaneous expense, which there will be every month, but you just gotta limit them. Let me download this image here. Yeah, Goldie's still trying to decide where to go. 5 minute close above 1 minute. All right. Yeah, you get like a 1 minute candlestick. Boom, break here. Create, you set that bottom wick and then continue moving up. What would be the safest play? You can see you could have saved yourself here, right here, because this is not like a sure. This is not a sure entry. You know, if you got to take an impulse entry here, then you know, maybe waiting for a candle to first close is a good play, because there's no direction. We've seen it come down, now we've seen it going up again. It's still thinking. It's actually quite interesting once you start thinking of the market like that, in terms of how it flows. You can really see the thought process in it. When it comes down, comes back up, it's still deciding, what should we do? Should we go up? Should we go down? Because when it moves, and you're gonna know it's moving, correct? You're gonna know there's a difference between, like, for example, let's say you're trading this time right over here. Boom, boom, boom. You see price coming down. There's a difference between like how price behaves here. See how it's coming down. A little console break over here. Not the cleanest though. Boom, boom, boom. You see there's a difference. There's a difference. You can see it's in momentum, right? You can see there's some kind of a direction. That just gives you a small pullback, but it's still not momentum. You see, that's just a pullback. See, there's a difference in the nature of the way it's accumulating. You see it's accumulating. It's taking a small little break over here. Boom. Again, breaks. You see there's a difference to what we're seeing right now, because I just pulled up again, like really high up too. You see it took out like these key highs right over here. From before it was like trending downwards, but now it's like taking out some key highs above there, and now it's just like hanging out in this range, deciding whether it's going to continue moving up or it's going to continue moving down. I think NY you can get on the break, but London is not safe. Yeah, London's not safe now. I reckon like it could be better like somewhere above here, like we keep pushing up. What do you think of the console of the 1 minute? Is it wise to take an early entry away for the break lower? I think something that you gotta look at here is, where would you? Yeah, you got a candlestick close above resistance, right? Yeah, that's it. That's what Ricardo says. Like when he waits for trades which are not safe or whatever, you gotta wait for a candle to first close resistance and then break the highs. I don't know if you took it, but you see, I think it worked pretty good for you. You see, because the first impulse break pull back down. So same thing like yesterday. Impulse break, pull back down, then get a candle close above. Boom, candlestick close above, rebroke the highs and then moved up. W analysis. Nice. Yeah, I think that candlestick close thing it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. I think what would be, you know what I do? Like, I don't wait for the candle to close necessarily like this. Sometimes I'm just not in the trade. So sometimes what happens is a trade will play like this, but I'm not in the trade yet. So I'm gonna do this, but I'm not doing it based off of like consciously waiting for it to close, but I'm doing it based off of like, oh, okay, I see like maybe, you know, something is in play over here. If this wick was like, let's say this wick up here, or maybe just wait for that wick to break, because that's the highest point right there. Highest point. But sometimes the candlestick can do that, create me like a wick, and I'm still not in. Maybe it plays around for a bit, and then instead of getting in here, I just wait for the confirmation that it actually wants to continue moving in my direction. So it's always good to get that directional confirmation. You shouldn't think about it like you're getting a later price. You should think about you're getting a confirmation that price wants to go in that direction. Because sometimes we think it's like we're gonna get a later price and we want to get in, like even if price is in drawdown, because we see our entries, we're gonna get in drawdown. But you know, you could always just get in when it continues. So let's see if we can hold this momentum over here to the upside. What did it peak? About 30 points, 33 from that wick, and from this wick over here it peaked around like 25. But yeah, let's wait and see if we can get a bit more direction. So we just created a new higher high over here as well. You see it's like starting to break out of this accumulation. Remember what we said, like if there's not enough buyers, the market makers are going to bring it back down to get more orders in so price can continue moving up bullish. That's why sometimes you see breakouts happen like this. A breakout will happen and then come back down to retest, because we're trying to see if there's more buyers that price can continue in that direction. If there's a lot of buyers, then we could have already just continued up like this. But it seems like there's not a lot of buying activity yet. It could even just be one person. Like literally, like I used to watch these documentaries of institutional trading. It could just be one person who just made this move happen over here. Boom, like that. And it could also have been a fake move. It could have been a Trojan horse. Maybe if the guy wanted to like fake out the buyers, maybe he thought there's buyers over here he could squeeze, could create like an artificial move and then quickly squeeze it on the other direction. And I think that's why you're also going to learn about what like an imbalance is. You know, when you learn about imbalances, it's kind of like when the market creates it's kind of like a fake out, right? It's kind of like a fake out. It's an imbalance that will later come to be balanced out when we learn about imbalances, right? So it's like you're learning that institutions are negative, so they would come later and balance it out. It's not always going to hit it perfectly, but it could come like even here and then reverse here. But the idea is they're still in their buys, correct? They're still in the buys, but they're making more money off the sells, because that's what hedge funds do anyway. They're always in buys and sells at the same time. So it can be quite intricate. Like trading can be quite complex and mathematical. So I try not to think about all those too much, because it's like, you know, it doesn't really serve us any purpose, except like it's just good to know, I guess. Why is daily bias waiting? Because there's no direction. I mean, just look at the candles. This is all that I need to know to take a trade. What are we currently doing right now? I don't need to know about no OBs back over here. If there's a clean range, like awesome. But until we actually start moving, I don't even like want to really look too much at the higher time frames, because I know there's nothing. There's nothing I'm looking to trade now. See, try to break above, but again, it's come back into the range. See, it's lacking direction, lacking volume. That's why you gotta have the super secret indicator here. If you don't have this, then you're gonna do your over analysis on the higher time frames and think that we should be trending bearish. But in reality, at this very moment, there's no trend. You might think, oh, we've been bullish all week, or previous daily was even bearish. Even previous daily created a resistance. Although we've been bullish since Monday. 1, 2, 3. Previous daily created resistance. So we gotta be really careful about this candle over here. You see, it's still like a doji. Look at the 5-minute whip. 5-minute liquidity grab. 5-minute close above. Back into the gulag. Ooh, it's brutal. Got the buyers twice on this. One right here, back in the range. One right here, back in the range. That's why I say, like, if you want to be safe, if you want to take the safest possible trade. Wait. Oh, super windy outside. If you want to take the safest possible trade, just wait. Wait for the market to show you direction. I really think it's going to flip bearish. Then we can have a good range for the coming week. See, look at that liquidity graph here on the 5 again. There's definitely a shock in the water. Definitely a shock in the water. Look at these wicks. Candle's about to flip. Look, 50 seconds. Wow, look at that. 50 seconds, now it's going to flip. See, 46. Are we going to close? Are we going to close bullish or bearish? You know, this could change literally in the next 10 seconds. And in the last 10 seconds, that could flip. It looks bullish now. It could flip. It could close bearish. This is psychology of market and timing. Man, some of my entries that happen in the last like 5 seconds. You know, I'm waiting for price to break, and then in the last 5 seconds, the candle decides to move. Then I'm like, damn, gotta think fast, you know? See, like, you see 10 seconds. Let's see how it's gonna behave. See, I was bullish the whole time. See, it's gonna close bearish. Oh, 2 seconds. Okay. Yeah, my broker will also close bullish. I think that's what, isn't that what options is? Oh, what is it called? Binary or something like that. They like bet on how the candle is gonna close, correct? Something of the sorts. Binary options. Anyone trade those before? It's like roulette, black and red. You're gonna guess like what color. And you see like how crazy it is, because the market can literally flip in the last 10 seconds. So you might think it's going to be green, then it flips bearish. Pocket options. Binary options is a good casino, yes. You know, if you can read market structure, if you can read price action, it's kind of like the same. You can kind of have like a good guess of what direction. You see, because right now this is shit, right? This is shit because you're resistance. It's a bit tricky. But if you're trending, then you know you're just looking for sells. It's a wild game. We all started there. I saw it when I first started trading, but I never got into it. I never got into futures. I don't know nothing about micro lots, micro contracts, and all that stuff. I stuck with forex from the beginning because, like, you know, everybody was looking up to at the time was like trading forex. Foreign exchange. If someone asks you what you do for a living, say you trade the foreign exchange markets. Sounds a lot more fancy than saying you trade forex. I'm a foreign exchange, sir. I just say I trade gold. Yeah, that's nice. Me too. I'm in the import-export business of gold. But instead of import-export, we just buy and sell. Today would have been 1 full year since I joined TFX Discord if I hadn't caught a stray ban yesterday. Oh man, it wipes that out. Anyway, we know you're an OG here, architect. We should give you a special color. We should give you a special color. I don't know if we can do that on Discord, like for people who stay for like over a year. Yeah, like this is the guy from, what was that TV called? Joey. Man, I used to love that show. Whatever happened to Joey? Anyway, so let's see what's going on. You can see like on the 5-minute here, you have massive rejection wick. So you kind of want to stay away from this. The chance that you're going to get a profitable trade here is really, really going to be low. This is like if you ever go on like fishing or like on a boat or a glass boat or something on like on a holiday. And the guy throws bread inside the water and you see all those fish come and eat the bread. That's kind of what's going on here. That's what's going on here. The fish is eating all the bread. It's like a shark frenzy. You don't want to jump into that, do you? When you see all the fish like eating the bread. Oh, it feels weird to jump in the water with them all around that area, isn't it? You don't want to get in there. It feels weird. So you gotta wait. You gotta wait for them to leave. Buy and sell metals in a virtual market. Yes. Yeah, someone's gotta throw some bread over here. And throw some bread over here, then you know, then the fishes can go there. You say forex, I think you're a scammer. Yeah. And you know why it's such a crazy thing now is because of the people who are doing like illegal activities. You know, some people are gonna like do these illegal activities like I don't know, like some people steal like credit card information online, for example, right? And then they kind of use the forex thing as a way to cover up where the money is actually coming from, because like people who make money from forex, they make a lot of money, correct? So it's easier for them to cover it up by saying they're a forex trader, but in reality they're not actually trading, but they're doing like some kind of a credit card scam or something like that. It's just the easiest way to hide it, you know. That's why Bitcoin is such a great instrument for a lot of criminal activities, because on Bitcoin it's also not tracked. It's harder to track. So you can just say something like, oh, I made my money off Bitcoin. You know, a guy could be worth hundreds of millions. They say, oh, I was a Bitcoin billionaire. You're not gonna judge. You're gonna be like, okay, yeah, I kind of believe that. Bitcoin millionaire, sure. A lot of people say stuff like that. Oh, I made my money on Bitcoin. That's a problem, but yeah, I think it's just a trend. You know, it's just a trend right now. Those guys, like the way they do it now, they're gonna go and find something else to do later. It's just a trend. Like nowadays, people use that as an excuse for a lot of things. We got a range here. We have, let's see, boom, boom, 100 pips. 100 pips. The price starts to break below here. Maybe we're gonna start getting some direction in. Because, you know, like people are not consistent. That's why I'm saying it's a trend. Like, obviously, people have been using that excuse for a very long time. It's existed like for a very long time, but it's more trendy now. But people are just not as consistent. Like if you look at the trading space in 2019, 2018, 2017, it's completely different from what it is now. People, you always get people who ruin stuff like that. Even if you say you trade gold, gold also has a bad connotation to it, you know, because like gold is affecting a lot of countries, because you know there's like a lot of like politics surrounding like gold mining in countries, and a lot of corruption surrounding that whole gold industry as well. So you're always gonna have like bad actors, I guess, in whatever it is. I just say I trade gold. That's all I actually do trade. If you look at my stats over here, we stopped trading GJ like really long ago. In April. I've just been trading Goldspot. I think gold trade is really nice. It's also like it's family business. Family businesses own like physical shops of gold. It's a good trade to learn and pass down to generations. Man, look at this thing. Just complete garbage here. I missed 2024 GJ. Yeah, GJ was... What's that? 2024? 2024 was... Yeah, I think GJ was... yeah, GJ, we traded quite a bit of GJ in 2024. Like all the years previously, GJ has been okay, but I see like we've always had like some kind of a gold trend. Look at these. These were like 15 trades back to back in 2023. This was around a September. Just pure gold positions. I don't know. I think like looking back at it now, I think a lot of us started trading GJ because we were looking at people who traded GJ, right? Like a lot of the people we watched were trading GJ. So like, why not? But after a few years, you start to realize GJ is really not that special. It's not that great. I mean, sure, it's good. It's slow. The PA is somewhat decent for like beginner traders who like that slow movement, but it's not the greatest pair to trade. You get like 6 pips and the candle looks like a huge candle on gold like this, but on GJ it's probably like 6 pips, like 10 pips. On gold right now, that's like 40 pips. I stick to saying normal money instead. Saying you trade gold to somebody usually has a bad touch to it for me. They think you're kind of a mysterious character. Oh, he trades gold? How does he trade gold? Is he like Matthew McConaughey in that movie? Remember that movie Matthew McConaughey where he's like a gold miner? What's that movie called? Matthew McConaughey. Also W movie, a gold movie. If you haven't watched Gold with Zac Efron, watch Gold with Zac Efron and then watch Gold 2016 with Matthew McConaughey. How he goes into the jungle to excavate. That's what people think if you say you trade gold. Because the people who do trade gold, they're crazy. Like I have a friend, a buddy of mine who trades gold. Like he actually goes to gold mines. He has the maps and everything, and he looks at the maps and the lines on the maps, and they go to like these third world countries, and they get gold. But these people are always so crazy. They're like the ones who party hard. They party hard. You know, they get paid a good amount of money, but they're a bit of degenerates. Yeah, so this is a W movie over here. It's also called Gold. All right. It's a woozy, it's a wazi. Fairy dust. All right, so it's coming down here at 0%. I'm still waiting for a trend. It's time to break the lows though. Said that you trade precious metals and commodities. Oh, that sounds nice. Yeah, that sounds really nice. Trade precious metals and commodities. In 2020, it used to be foreign exchange. So then someone asks you, oh, you got a nice car over there. What do you do? Tell them I trade foreign exchange. And I think before 2020, it was just forex. They changed foreign exchange. Now we just got to keep changing it. Precious metals and commodities. This looks like it's faking out again. Look at this. You got one whip above here. You got one whip below here. Back into the range. Man, look at this liquidity grabs. Holy. The market's not playing today. It said, oh, you're trying to catch a breakout? I'm going to show you a breakout right now. Look at this. Got one fail, second fail, third fail. Got about 1 more minute. 1 minute for this candlestick to close. Let's see what happens. Closes above resistance. Support, I mean. Back into the range. Yeah, GJ ranges and small pips are messing with my head when I look at it now. Yeah, because GJ, you'll see a big move and you'll think it's nice, and then you measure the pips and it's not that much. You could adjust your lot size accordingly, but it's just not as interesting. It's not so interesting to trade. Yeah, look at this, man. You can just see the wicks. Look at how the wicks came in here. Boom. Wicks came in there. Boom. Back into the range. Got 15 seconds. So it's important to wait. That's why you got your daily bias indicator here. This is just supposed to support you when you are in a situation where you're not sure. Like this. That's what happens when you're not sure. So it's trying to squeeze out. It could still, you know, the funny thing is like it could still completely melt, but it's definitely squeezing out people. Let's see what happens. Probably comes back into the gulag or just gotta wait. A lot of speculation here at this point. What's gold gonna do? You know, it's not like yesterday. Yesterday was pretty straightforward, like pretty straightforward buys. I think the only thing about yesterday was I should have just taken the trade that happened on the London Open right here. So I've already adjusted that for the next time it happens. Because usually I'll look for something to happen like twice in the market, see if there's a trend, and then like adjust accordingly. Yeah, so you see that was supposed to be my entry right over here as we broke these highs, but I wanted the London session to open up first, and I think that's the thing that I should have looked at to say next time, even if it's a losing trade, okay, that's fine. I think it's still a good idea that we get stuck in, especially if it's in a very nice market environment. That would be the only thing that this week that I can say that I learned from this week, that it's always a small tweak. You know, a small tweak to take it into the next months, and you're going to see how amazing that your results are going to be when you make those little changes. You know, it's always like a small change sometimes. You got to make a small change. And then you got to adapt to the market if you find that your strat is kind of stuck. You know, it's like driving a car, right? You don't change the way you drive. You don't change the car. You just back up the car a little bit. You put it onto the side and you try like a different route, like, you know, a small different route. Or maybe you're going to put something under the wheel, like just something small that's going to help with the traction. You know, you're not changing everything. You're just like tweaking a little bit. You got to tweak. You got to tweak. You got to move, right? You got to move. Just like in trading, like in a lot of things in life, right? You just got to tweak. You don't change everything, but you know, if you think about rock climbers, those guys who climb those massive mountains, man, like free climbing, those sometimes you got to tweak something small. Or those guys who go into caves and they're so stuck inside a cave, which is so tight. You know, sometimes you got to tweak something like something so small so you can keep going through that cave. which I find like the most craziest thing that people do, like put themselves inside those tight spots. Gotta tweak something small always, you know. That's what differentiates you from the others, is your ability to understand detail. You know, like when you're gonna look for a job, they're gonna ask you, you're detail oriented. Because, you know, the more detail oriented you are, you're gonna catch these small things. Like, you know, that's why I think like people like Tiger Woods are so great at what they do, is because they're detail oriented. Is that small tweak that they know that they have to make that the other person doesn't know that they have to make, that gives them the edge. All right? It's like when you're gonna play a video game with your buddy and you figure out something about the game and you don't want to tell them, and you're like, oh damn, I realized like if I do this, this is gonna give me like an advantage, and then you start winning games, but you don't want to tell them what it is that you do. Very intrinsic. You know what I mean? Like, for example, let me show you an example, a perfect example, like what I do, for example, in Battlefield. It's a very small thing that I realized that is a reason why I would say 90% of the time, I'm going to be top 5 of the leaderboard. If not top 3, maybe top 3 I'll be, but 90% of the time, I'll be top 5 of the leaderboard, even when the lobby is this good, because look at my teammates here, slaughtering. 59, 49, just completely slaughtering, but I still came out on top. Because there's something that I know, because look at the point system. You see the point system? You know, there's always that small little thing that the other guy is not going to tell you. It's the same thing in gaming. It's the same thing in trading. Same thing in sports, cooking, whatever it is that you do, singing, rapping. Everybody has a secret. Everybody has their own little thing that they figured out. That's their edge. That's what you got to cultivate. All right, look at this. Price moving down here. Quite nice. Free climbers is so crazy. It must be one of the most dangerous sports. Yeah, I think that's... I love this show on Netflix. This really nice show on Netflix. I think on TradingView, they use this guy, Free Solo. I think it's called Free Solo. If you go on TradingView, they use this guy as the TradingView poster. And it's like, look... what TradingView say? Like, look before you leap. Basically. So you see how it's always tying, like trading is always tying into everything in life. It's just like when you think of trading, it's an art. Think of it as an art. Don't think of it always too much of like a science, because a lot of these smart money concepts guys are always just thinking of it more of a science. But you know, it's like, would you rather eat a dish that an artist made you that dish, or would you eat a dish that a scientist made you that dish? You know, just like cooking is an art. You understand? So you got to look at trading like an art form. I think that's like the best way I can explain to you in terms of just becoming great at something, because you can never just always become great 1 + 1 = 2 in whatever it is that you do. Like literally, you can't be great just 1 + 1 = 2. That's why a robot can never replace a human. A robot is really good at understanding like all the information that's happening, but I think a human at the end of the day is a much better trader. Free Solo scared me so much. That was a W series. If that scared you, man, there's this one that's called this movie over here. It's called, what is this movie called? Fall. Man, you should watch Fall. If you're afraid of heights, watch this movie over here. I think it's directed by Steven Spielberg. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, watch this movie over here. These girls go and like climb this cell tower thing. It's insane. People actually have this job. Like where they climb these cell towers and they're gonna go and change a bulb or something in the sky. W movie. So simple too. So simple but so good. Like those guys who scale huge buildings. Yeah, like those Russians. You know those Russians who do the the parkour and they hang off the roofs. Go to Dubai, climb those skyscrapers and hang off the roof. Look at this. Gold is trying to move down, but it's like it's not getting enough steam over here. It's trying to push, but it's like it wants to fake people out. You can clearly see gold is trying to fake people out over here. Look at this, like, rubbish. It's clearly trying to fake people out. Breaking lows, pulling up, breaking lows, pulling up. Watch the man ski down Mount Everest. Man ski down Mount Everest. Oh, that's some Red Bull stuff, huh? I watched a video the other day, not the other day, but a while ago, of this guy falling off a mountain, but he landed on soft snow, so he survived. So he was so lucky at the skier, he landed on soft snow, otherwise he would have died. Yeah, I'm slightly terrified of heights. That's why I walk the see-through bridge that's high up from time to time. Oh, nice. So what is that? To help your fear? It's good. Like those guys who scale. So let's see. 15 head and shoulders possibly forming. Yeah, I can kind of maybe see it here. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. You see 15-minute. Look at how nasty those wicks are. As well towards the lows. Tiger Woods constantly changed his swing. Most didn't understand, but he was always trying to improve. Yeah, I mean, that's it, right? You gotta go through all the iterations of so you at least know. At least know. I call it the more you fuck around, the more you find out graph. If you've seen that video. So this is, let's say, this is find out, and this is fuck around. So the more you fuck around, the more you're gonna find out. So instead of sticking with this swing, maybe this swing is nice. You feel comfortable with the swing, right? But imagine if you see how all the other iterations of the swings feel. Maybe you're gonna learn something and you can layer this swing with something good. Another improvement from what you've learned from all the other iterations. And slowly get better and better. And then just until you get to a point until you get what you need, right? So you don't need to like mess around or too much because you've already done a lot of that messing around. That's what a strategy is. Like, you're gonna play with a strategy for a long time and you're gonna go through everything, see how it all fits together and say, okay, I think these are the pieces of the puzzle which fit the best. So you can take you can be rest assured that you have definitely, like, you pushed it to the limit a bit more, so you know what your strategy is capable of. And I think that's something that yeah, perfect, this is it right here. You see, I think that's something that you gotta do. You always gotta try and push it to see where its limits are, what's capable of. Because some of y'all have these strategies and you are wanting to catch 1 to 10, 1 to 15 all the time or whatever, but it just might not be possible. Your strategy might just put you in the realm of just 1 to 1, and you gotta be okay with that too. Then you gotta figure out how can you maximize, because you know it's still consistent. If you're consistent with even 0.5 or 1 to 1, but you're managing your risk properly, it's still a good strat. You now just got to figure out how can you maximize profits off those returns that you're getting. What's the best way to play it? Like for my strat, I tell you guys so many ways to manage risk, like every day, so many ways. I gave you all like 3 or 4 examples yesterday. The other one that I didn't give you, I think I forgot, was also if price just moves in your favor, correct? So if you're expecting price to move in your favor and you want to be really risk averse, then, you know, just put your stop loss to break even as soon as price moves in your favor. You know, even just by a little bit. Because if you're expecting zero drawdown continuation, that's also a risk management model. But you just have to now get that data for yourself and see how many of those end up in break even if you do it aggressively. And when does it make the most sense to do it aggressively? Maybe if you're over risking. Don't mind me asking, you from South Africa? Nope. Where's your signal? There's no signal. I hacked up Table Mountain and we were literally standing above the clouds and my legs went weak looking at it. Oh yeah, Table Mountain's pretty nice. Then you got those people climbing it. Some people normally climb it too. As you're going up the escalator, you gotta see some people sometimes climbing it. Then you got those cute little furry things there at the top. They look like lemmings. Actually, are those lemmings on top of Table Mountain? Those are lemmings. Those are lemmings at the top of Table Mountain, isn't it? But they're a little bit bigger, aren't they? No, I think they're a little bit bigger, but they look something like this. One of my favorite childhood skaters is in South Africa right now, is in Cape Town. This guy. I think he's there now, but he was there like recently. Ryan Sheckler. He is probably still there right now. This guy was like the Justin Bieber of skateboarding back in, I think, like 2010. That is a Gen X moto there. Fuck around and just find out. Yeah. That is a Gen X thing. Because people nowadays, they're too afraid to fuck around a lot. You know, I still like to fuck around. That's why I do my own. Sometimes if I can do it myself, I do it myself. Like electrical wiring, for example. Electrical wiring in the house. You know, I like to fuck around with like stuff like that. Because the more you fuck around, the more you find out. Because after you do it, you're like, okay, so this is not so bad after all. You know, when you like hire an electrician all the time and you're gonna hire a plumber all the time, it's like you don't learn. For me, I feel like those are crucial skills to learn. And I think that's something that it's missed a lot in the more recent generations. You know, they don't want to learn those types of things. You gotta learn those things. This is just fuck around, you find out, right? It's a good skill to have. Because if you want to open a broker, let's say your dream is one day to open a trading brokerage, you're gonna have to have that attitude of this is nothing. Like, I can do this, you know, like all I gotta do is just fuck around and I'll find out. Just go on Google. You want to open a business account, an LLC, what have you, make those money plays so you pay less tax. Just start fucking around. Go on Google, type in how can I pay less tax in this country, da 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 da. You slowly find stuff out and it becomes less stressful, you know, because like I think it's Bill Gates who says like stress only comes from not doing things. The only reason you're stressed is because you're not doing anything. You know, like when you got to study for an exam, for example, and you don't study, only reason you're stressed is because you're not studying. You're just putting it off and it's creating you stress. I'm going to have a new site. So when I'm saying this, what I mean to say is also is like when you get a loss, treat it as you're finding out. That's all that a loss is. You're just finding out that this maybe has a lower probability of playing out at a certain time or just in general. So that's all that a loss is. I'm going to have a new site construction. Going to try install this. Oh, I can't open this. I gotta have an account. Maybe you can send a picture. Screenshot. Easy to install. You know, like some people who also do stuff like I live in a country where services are very easy to acquire. There's a lot of services. You don't have to lift a finger in my country, but there's a lot of easy things people like. They would pay somebody to do, like, for example, install a washing machine. You know what I mean? Like, there's such simple things you can do yourself. But you know, like when you're in a comfortable country, everything can be done for you. It's like people don't want to learn new skills. You know, like when I was in Germany, I had to put my own fuel in the car. I forgot how nice it is to have somebody, for example, do a simple task like that for you. They're gonna put fuel in the car for you. Or, you know, just a lot of other things. Let's see. Easy to install. Can be placed behind the switch. With this, you can control. You're just going to try and install this. Oh, what is this? Mini body app remote intelligence voice timer cooldown good hit dissipation. What does this thing do? You connect to Alexa, you can control plugs, lights, etc. Oh, nice. Got like smart home. That's pretty cool. Should install one of those biometric doors where it's like you could put like a passcode on it, face recognition, fingerprint. Those are pretty cool. Those door handles. You can also got a camera on it too. See the other person. Quite efficient. I like keeping my money too much not to install a ceiling fan and fuck around with 240V. How do I set the daily bias on the chart, sir? Well, all you gotta do is click the link that says daily bias indicator and then go on add to favorites and it's gonna add to your trading view. Simple. See, man, you gotta fuck around. That's the word for the day. Sorry for cursing so much. I know people don't like hearing that word a lot. But yeah, I guess that's the word for the day, you know. Fuck around. Don't ask me questions. Try to figure it out first. Takes a lot longer for you to get the answer from me than if you just, you know, see the description box. And just try it. Alright, so we're just waiting here. The daily is a doji. I don't know if you guys want to take a trade when the daily looks like this, but I don't want to take a trade when the daily looks like this. Look at it just whiplashing back and forth. 26 pips. Daily candle. How small it is here. There's low volume. There's no volume. Electricity is nice because you know you get punished instantly if you mess up. Yeah, if you don't turn off the breaker, then you're screwed. You are screwed, so you gotta be so careful. Yeah, you gotta treat remember kids, in order to become profitable traders, you have to fuck around with electricity. Yeah, you gotta treat trading like you are messing around with electricity, right? Because the one thing that I knew when I started with my first deposit was I could lose this money all in one go, right? So I had to be super careful. So when I was doing my demo trading and my lot sizing, I was super careful of every single position that I was taking. And making sure I was gonna risk maybe, you know, like $5, maybe like $5 a trade in the beginning. $5 a trade. So you're gonna be very careful, because you know in trading, all it is, it's the same thing as if you trade, let's say, a 1 lot, and by accident, you know, you change your lot and put a 0 over there. Now you're trading a 10 lot, and you take a 10 lot trade and it goes straight to drawdown. Man, that's like you gotta forget to put the electricity off. Because now you know your account on a 10 lot from what you're seeing on a 1 lot, it's not going to be good, especially if it's a bad trade. It's like very big loss. So you got to be careful. But I think like 2 weeks ago, I forgot to change my lot size during the pre-session. So it kind of worked out in my favor though. I had like a smaller lot size. So when I hit my stop loss, I lost like a lot less than I would usually. So kind of got lucky on that. I think this was that trade. I lost like 0.34%, but that's because I forgot to change the lot size back. So that could also happen in the opposite way. All right, look at Goldie. Still thinking what to do. Still thinking what to do. Hey, maybe it's like gonna dump quite quick, because sometimes when the market behaves like this, all of a sudden you see it start to move. And it starts moving very aggressively. It start moving downwards very aggressively. That's when we attack. Because right now it's a time in the market where people are going to give back a lot of the gains. You could have caught some pretty nice moves during the pre-London time right here. Nice little sell-off. But besides from that, that was the last move that happened before we retrace up to break into the sideways movement here. So now we got to wait for that direction, because most people are going to spend a lot of money in this range taking really bad trades. So, you know, you just got to wait. Gold's inviting sellers. I haven't seen anyone say it today, but I'm a man of tradition. Big Wick Vic, buy or sell? Buy or sell? I think even the buy or sell commenters know that there's nothing to buy or sell here. So we got nothing. The people who ask buy or sell, they also intuitively know that there's something to buy or sell. Or they somehow get like a gut feeling. So from the years of streaming, I've realized like a certain pattern of behavior. They're not completely clueless. They somehow know, because they know when the market's moving like this, there's not much to do. Even if you don't know like about wicks and structure necessarily. There's a gut feeling that's telling you that something is not right. All right, but once it starts to move, that's when you start to see a lot of people start saying buy or sell, buy or sell. There's like a gut feeling, you know, that gut feeling tells you like it's a gamble. It's a gamble anyway. Look at this range here. From here to here, you got about like 54 pips. Pay or sale. Those bioabsorption I didn't see until too late. Volume is going up and price down, so bioabsorption. Yeah, it would be nice to get a breakout. The chat is finally blocking some things I say. Really? I just got censored by chat. Whose name? Whoever's name you're trying to type probably has a lot of capital letters. Oh, you're trying to send in a link. What the hell is wrong with this guy? Electro boom failures. Oh, wasn't there like an airplane? I saw recently on the news. Wasn't it like Ethiopian Airlines or something like that that got these batteries exploded in the cargo? So I say never bring like laptops and batteries. Never pack batteries in a suitcase. Those lithium ion batteries, man. Come on, Goldie, you can do this. Look at the daily. The daily's flip. You see the daily? The daily has rejected resistance 1, 2, 3 times. It's rejected resistance. We're just waiting for it to follow through now. It's rejected resistance. December rate cuts are lowered now to 49%. So that's looking pretty bearish for gold. But gold is still set for best week in 4. So we might have a Friday pullback. Let's see, gold price rose above 41.90. Where we're currently sitting at now, 41.70-ish. No, I don't see any real psychological mocks currently at this moment, except this 4,200. Yeah, 4,200 level where the daily has rejected. See, where you're getting those massive rejections. So I think that's a pretty key area here. We could possibly see like a really nice move. Continuation. We just need something, you know. Gold's got to do something. Maybe London session ranges and then the move happens for pre-New York. You can see it's trying to fill this range, but look at the way it's filling the range. Break below, pull back up. It's coming down, breaking below, pulling up. So you see it's filling the range, but it's trickling. So you're not getting those clean sweeps like we typically would like to see. Like some kind of a clean sweep like this, for example. See how candle break above to fill this area? Nice clean sweep. See, it's struggling a bit here. Are we missing out on a sell? No, I don't think so. I think like whatever trade is going to play out here, it's going to be one of those where it's like timing will be everything. Timing will be crucial. Like if you catch the bumper clot, which moves like a good distribution either up or bearish, timing is going to be of the essence. You really have to be more accurate with the timing than just when you're trading normal market conditions where you just get like a simple structure and then like a simple breakout. You know, with what's going on now, man, you got to be even more accurate with your timing to catch that breakout, whatever that's going to be. So you got to see like, is that a battle worth fighting? You know, do you want to fight this guy? You got to choose who you want to fight. So you want to fight this guy? I don't think this is a pretty good fight here. Who do y'all think would win in a fight? Dwayne Johnson or Vin Diesel? Let's see what the chat thinks. Dwayne Johnson or Vin Diesel, one-on-one. Let's go. Who would win the fight? They're both interesting characters. Because have you seen Vin Diesel off screen? He's a bit fruity. Dwayne Johnson off screen is also having his own issues. They got muscles, you know, I call them like swimsuit muscles. You know, people just got swimsuit muscles. Well, who do you think would win in a fight? The Rock easily? But The Rock is cooking. The Rock? Oh yeah, they got beef as well though. They got beef as well because I remember The Rock said he didn't want to do Fast and Furious if Vin Diesel was in it. At some point they had like some kind of a beef with the Fast and Furious franchise. They didn't want to work together. Yo, The Rock looks jacked though. This guy definitely does take stimulants. Vin Diesel looks a little bit more natural. I don't think The Rock is as big anymore though, because he had that like heart surgery or something. Yeah, like some complications. Not heart surgery, but yeah, there was something that was messing him up. They really should fight? Man, I'll watch that fight. I'll pay to watch that fight. Vin Diesel versus The Rock. Oh, this was the problem, I think. Dwayne Johnson didn't want to be on the ground. Like, if you look at all I think it's like someone like, if you look at all Dwayne Johnson's movies, right? He's never on the, I think it's on the ground. I think that's a problem Dwayne Johnson had. Like, he didn't want to have his character, like, be portrayed as a weakling. So he never wanted a scene where his character is going to be on the ground. Or just something funny like that. Something weird like that. The Rock for sure. Height difference is so big. AI says Vin Diesel. The Rock got more experience in fights. WWE. Yeah, but that's not real fighting though. Oh, in his contract, yeah, that's what it was. To never lose a fight. It was not to be on the ground, but it was to never lose a fight. Yeah, that's true. The Rock never lose a fight. Like Statham has. Oh, like Jason Statham? Yeah, pretty nice movies. Yeah, it's true. That guy never really loses a fight. What is that movie where people just kept walking or you are dead? I think it's called The Walk. It's a recent one, 2025. The Walking Dead. Yeah, that's what it's called, The Long Walk. You know, gold is like accumulating here. It's getting ready. It's getting ready. It will be perfect if it created like one more support before it breaks the lows. But I reckon it's gonna distribute. I got a feeling like we might see bearish Friday here. Still respecting 4200 like this. But it's insane, you know, we've been on the chart for so long and the daily has only moved like 30 pips to the downside. I want to get a trade. Let's see how previous daily was bearish as well. Maybe we could see like some bearish continuations. If you see where the order flow is coming in from, you see this? Boom. It's a pullback over here. Back to 4200 and then back below 4200. I think that's the key mark that the sellers are trying to get for Friday. Friday closure, weekly closure is 4200. So far, it looks like the sellers are generally in more control since yesterday, at least. Almost passing my funded account, $60 to pass. I would say like start next week. Start again trading next week. You don't have to rush it. Just always remember that you don't gotta rush it. Start next week. Because this Friday it's already kind of started off slow. It's slow with a lot of wicks, you know, so we don't know like what's up ahead for the rest of the day. So you gotta like start on a day that's more predictable. Should I secure the trade? If you're in a trade, put your stops to break even, I guess. Because it's whiplashing back and forth. Time to hit back and shoulders. See y'all in a bit. Nice one, Joshua. Oh, it's breaking the highs. Looks cleaner now for the highs, then break the lows. Little inverted head and shoulders there. Little reversal confirmation since it broke these lows on the 5-minute time frame. It's got instance, you got like 30 seconds here. If you're waiting for that candle to close above this area, it's like, oh, 26 seconds. You're really just wanting it to stay in this region, right? So the more it looks like this, the better. Kind of slow, 18 seconds. You got that little SMA kiss of death right over there. So it's like, okay, you can be a little bit more patient, you see? You got like 11 seconds. Let's see. Last 10 seconds, maybe it rips up like 10 pips. 6? Oh yeah, you can be a bit more patient in that scenario. You see, now that's when the waiting for the close is actually pretty nice here, Ricardo. Like a situation like this, where it's like, it's a gradual progression, right? Gradual progression. But you see, it still also didn't break the wick here. So even if you wait for the close or not, it still did not break the wick. So that would be now the wick break. But yeah, I guess so. That's just kind of what it's setting up right now. But let's see, chat. Let's see. We gotta wait. We gotta wait. We gotta wait. It's still not out of the woods yet. But it is definitely setting. It's setting something up there for sure. There's definitely a setup. But in terms of the bias, you just don't really got bias in your favor and confluence. I appreciate you stops at BE. Yeah, I'm expecting a massive sell-off, but it might not happen today is the thing. It could happen in a... Because, you know, once it's going to stop moving, it's going to stop moving. Right? So we just got to be patient. Sometimes we think like nothing's going to happen and then we leave the chart to then find out that there was like a big move that just happened once you get off the charts. You know what I mean? It's eventually going to happen. Eventually it should move. Well, if you look at our forex factory today, what do we have? We have nothing. Look at this. We have nothing here. So why would price consolidate? It might be more technically based than fundamentally based, because you know we have no news. So there's no reason for it to consolidate unless it's just waiting for pre-NY, maybe NY open, or there's a technical glitch somewhere, maybe some uncertainty with the macro fundamentals. Come on, Goldie. Literally, look at the daily candle, chat. Look at the daily candle. If you're trying to squeeze a trade out of this, Godspeed. Look at this thing. The daily candle is literally 5 pips. Look at this. Look at what you're trading here. You're trading spread. You're basically trading spread. You gotta trade spread, you're gonna get stopped out there. Look at that. Look at this. How long have you been a trader? 6 years by the end of this year. And how long? What strategy do I use? Price action. So I just use like price action, but I think like over the years, I've been trying to read more volume than just the price action. I've been just trying to understand, but not using in terms of indicators to read volume, but just getting my third, what you gonna call it, like a third sense. You know, the third sense of like, you know, price right now is shit, right? So that usually comes with experience. So I think over the years now I'm trying to understand more with just the direction, like how price moves, taking off all sorts of training wheels, still using my same entry confirmations technically, but just in terms of a mental game of how price just moves, you know, just anticipating volume, a lot of impulsive entry type moves. Still the same entry confirmations, but like how can you avoid, or how can you pinpoint like the best possible trades, basically? Because, you know, like you gotta get an entry set up, whatever that is, trend line bounce, SMA crossover, divergence. Not all setup have all the same probabilities of them playing out just because you can see it on the chart. You know, some got like better confluences than others. Some trades could even have less confluence, but it could have the right confluence. So it can even be a better trade, for example, than a trade with 3 confluences. You can have a trade with 1 confluence, but it has like the best confluence. And I think those types of trades are the ones which are trending a lot. So if you got like a macro news event and you see price moving, just moving in one direction, those are the ones where even with the least amount of confluence, you're going to have a good trade. And man, that's what was happening a lot in, let me show you. This was the, what month was this? I think it was September. That was happening a lot. Let's see, not August. Yeah, here. It was happening a lot in July. See, in July, exactly. This is my month I did 51%. Man, it was happening a lot in July. Man, in July, I wasn't always just following my rules. I wasn't following my rules because price was so predictable. Like, even if you were to take like the most risky trades, right? My most risky trades, maybe buying at some highs or whatever, they would always still play out. I don't know if you guys remember like how crazy July was, but your trades would just always play out. There was so much volume, like even your risky trades would just play out all the time. Even when we would get like drawdown, 16 pip stop loss, maybe we get in on top of a 5-minute candle like this. Let's say get a 5-minute candle like this, right? And then we take like a buy over here, and our stop loss is right over here, and we're getting the new 5-minute candle open up, and we're like, damn, that's a bit of like an imbalance that was formed. So you get that bottom wick form, but it's still respected, and it would just keep going in our favor. Just because we had the right kind of confluence. It didn't matter about like nothing else, but how price was behaving at that time. So I think that's why July was an amazing month. Amazing month in July. Very, very, very predictable. Very predictable. Sometimes price moves, you guys get that gut feeling. You know price is going to go somewhere, but it's not part of your rules, so you don't take it and you miss it out. You miss out on the trade. So that's what I'm talking about. Now, because you've experienced that before, now it's just with more experience, you're going to next time execute on that idea. Because I know some of you are really good at doing analysis and your trade plays out, but you're not in it because it was not checking all the boxes, right? It wasn't checking all the boxes the way you wanted it to check. But like over time, you're going to like start taking those trades because you're going to build confidence and you're going to like build a bit of experience. But you just got to see it happen a few times, like for a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever, how long. And then you got to start executing once you've seen it happen over and over and over again. And that's why, you know, market cycles are quite important. Because like once you get one market cycle under your belt, you kind of get a feeling of how markets behave or operate throughout the year. Correct? So now imagine that first time, okay, you're missing a lot of trades. Now the second market cycle, you're kind of understanding a little bit better. Okay, so there's a time in the year also, usually like price is more forgiving. It's gonna give you like amazing trades, and you can be more risky with your trades, you can be more impulsive with your trades, and through those iterations you start building even more and more confidence. Since I've been trading for 6 years, I've had 6 years of those iterations. So I've seen price happen like this over 6 years. The only thing that was different was the fundamentals. Still, it's going to be geopolitical wars, it's going to be something. We had a black swan event, which was COVID in 2020, but there's always going to be some kind of fundamental, like different type of fundamental, but the price action would behave relatively the same, right? Because markets just move up, sideways, or bearish. So now it's just like the context of what that macro event is. This year we had a lot of tariffs. We had the tensions that were happening in Gaza. We had also obviously Russia, Ukraine. Interest rates. The beef between Trump and Powell. Interest rates. Gold trims gains as Fed cut hopes fade after hawkish Fed commentary. Let's see. Gold trims gains as Fed cut hopes fade. Oh, hawkish Fed commentary. I think that was yesterday. Didn't we get like the FOMC meeting minutes? Wasn't it this week? I thought we had one this week. Was it removed from the calendar for some reason? Because I don't see it here anymore. I thought we had FOMC meetings. It even says hawkish Fed commentary. Gold prices paired earlier gains on Friday as hawkish comments from the US Federal Reserve officials clouded prospects for a December rate cut, although they remain set for a weekly gain supported by wider economic uncertainty. Bullion is up 4.3% so far this week. Gold prices are receiving support from the cautious mood that has set in across financial markets. However, the upside remains limited by growing doubts about the Federal Reserve rate cut in December, given the lack of fresh economic data. But we should be getting that data now since the government has reopened. So gold could still try and hold some key psychological marks. See if we can get that data in. Maybe see an all-time high. I don't know, but we need the data to come out. But until then, I would not be surprised to see pullbacks, to be honest, guys. The White House, however, tempered hopes for clarity on the economy, stating that October's unemployment data may not become available. Gold may also be facing pressure from position closing to meet margin calls triggered by declines in equity markets. So equity markets tumbled on Friday following the global sell-off triggered by a hawkish Fed signal. Yeah, I would not be surprised to see pullbacks. That's why I'm waiting for that daily to flip. It would be nice if it could just flip and start dumping right now, because I think, man, 4,200 resistance on that daily, and then for us to get that clean range on the daily too to come down would be nice. So you got profit taking, you have these things in the works as well. Officials cited inflation concerns and relative labor market stability following 2 cuts earlier this year. ATH very unlikely, do you think? We gotta get above 4,200. Because we've already gotten above resistance here on the daily, so if you see, we've got clean range to move up. But it's created a resistance Thursday's daily candle by 4,200. I mean, it's crazy. Like, look at the size of this candle, guys. Like, for Freaky Friday. It's like literally 3 pips. Daily candle is 3 pips. For me, just wait for NY direction. This is very hard to trade here. It could be waiting for a higher time frame close. Sometimes it's the higher time frames, like if you look at the 4-hour or something of the sort. Remember, because the 4 hours can also close like a doji, right? We just forget about the 4. We just usually forget about the higher time frames. But the 4-hour could also close like a doji. And then the next 4-hour candle is the one to move. So it could just be waiting for that structure. Did I see Bitcoin? No. Let's see Bitcoin. Oh, Bitcoin's coming down, just like we expected here. See this on the daily? It's coming downtown. On the weekly, what is this weekly analysis? Yeah, Bitcoin should be coming down. I think Bitcoin's fun is over here by 128,000. But it's not done yet. It's not done yet. It's gonna pull down. It's gonna retest 100K, and then it's gonna dump again. That was the same play that happened back in 2020. That was the same play that happened back here in 2021. Sorry, retested 60,000 one last time, and it came down all the way to 15K. This time I don't think we're gonna retest the highs. I think it's gonna be more of like almost maybe like a head and shoulders type of thing, and then come down. So that's why I'm speculating for Bitcoin. It's gonna take some time because these are weekly candlesticks, so it might have like some time, boom, 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 and then crash. Because the way Bitcoin operates is, let me see if I can pull this chart up for you. Yeah, something of the sort. You see, it's all this optimism, excitement, thrill, euphoria. So what stage are we in now? Because when we hit 128, that was a euphoria. That was euphoria. So now Bitcoin is in probably like anxiety. Anxiety. This is anxiety right here. We're not yet in denial phase yet. We're not yet in denial and fear. We're in anxiety. So I think, price is gonna do this, come up, and then when it starts to pull down again and starts to break these lows, something like that, or whatever, how it's gonna look, that's gonna be now the denial phase. The denial phase. No, Bitcoin's going up. Bitcoin's going up. And then once we start breaking below 80,000, I think once we start breaking that support, we're gonna be in a fear phase. Fear phase. And then when we start coming down to like 70ish, 70K here, that where the area where we broke and retest before, now we're going to be in the depression phase. And then once we keep moving down, then it's just panic and capitulate. What is that word? Capitulation. Maybe the markets just aren't for me. Oh, capitulation. That's what. Okay. Capitulation. Maybe this Bitcoin thing isn't for me. Then we get despondency. Point of maximum financial opportunity. Oh, that's what they say. Yeah, the point of maximum, that's a dip. Despondency, that's that 15K that we saw in 2021. Depression, and then slowly hope, relief, optimism. Yeah, but this is going to be an emotional cycle over here for people. If you look at the Bitcoin space, it's so emotionally driven. Like when Bitcoin is doing well, everybody's talking about Bitcoin. Everybody is happy about Bitcoin. Yes, Bitcoin's at all-time highs. You even feel good for those people because of the amount of emotion that they deal with that instrument. And when Bitcoin's down like this, like everybody is worrying, Capitulation, surrender, and acceptance. Yeah, normally when people who trade Bitcoin are so happy, you even feel happy for them. Because they're getting like some serious psychological damage. Psychological damage. I know people who invest like 50% of their monthly income into Bitcoin, which is insane. I mean, it's crazy. If it works out, Godspeed for them. But I still think it's quite crazy. When you say gold is then coming into denial or fear, it's just uncertainty with gold. Gold doesn't operate like in terms of those metrics that you saw over there. I don't think gold operates more like that. It's either gonna be moving or it's gonna be uncertain. That's it. Because gold is a precious metal. It's always gonna gain in value. Gold's like very, very important. It's not like Bitcoin. We've survived The modern human being has survived 7,000 years without Bitcoin. We will continue to survive without Bitcoin. But we have been living with gold for all this time, you know? So I think like with gold, it's a different story. It's like it's either uncertain or it's just moving. Because there's a change of Bitcoin goes from 100K to nothing, some crazy law that comes out. Yeah, exactly. You might have a... What's that word? Regulations. Yeah, that's the word. Regulations. Is there a demo trading on TradingView? No, but you can paper trade on TradingView. That's US oil. I think last time we saw oil was like $60. Yeah, it's still at 60 bucks. Look at that. Perfect. Exactly at $60 over here. It's just been bouncing around $60 a barrel. Oil. Yeah, I don't know about oil. You gotta stay updated with. Oil is a DXY of Canadian dollar. I mean, wait. Oil is the DXY of Canadian. You know, like DXY is for gold, and oil is like the DXY for the Canadian dollar. That's what I'm trying to say. But you gotta like keep up with the news here. Oil rises nearly 1% on Russian supply risks. Overnight, Ukraine launched a major drone attack on Novorossiysk, a vital Black Sea port, which handles oil cargoes from Russia as well as oil exports from Kazakhstan. This is pushing oil prices higher today. Still, oil futures are on track for a weekly loss and remain down about 15% year to date. You know, the crazy thing I hate about like when you got these international wars is how it can really just mess the whole world up. You know, it like messes up supply and demand for the whole world. Like, think about it this way. 95% of your internet survives on undersea cables, right? So undersea cables, if China wanted to manipulate the United States or Russia wanted to manipulate the United States, you know, they just got to go and cut those cables, or they're going to go and manipulate those undersea cables, because those undersea cables are what's driving all the data, all the financial data from Wall Street, all manner of data, AI data from Nvidia, Google, all those big companies, they all use this undersea cables, you know. So like all these countries like China, North Korea, they obviously would have an interest in manipulating such things like that, you know, which I think is insane, like the amount of disruption that can create. And it doesn't take that much. It doesn't take that much. Those cables are usually broken by these people who do like espionage. They're usually like broken. There was a story about these guys who were Luke was sending me this a month ago. These guys who were listening to the undersea cables to get clues of orders which were going through like Wall Street, and apparently they made like millions of dollars doing that. You know, we got like internet, but we never think about where this data is coming from. You know, we just kind of like enjoy it. You know, you switch on a light switch and you just kind of enjoy the power, but you never really think about how internet and how data centers actually work. Because a data center is a really expensive warehouse if you don't have those internet cables. It's all that it is. It's just an expensive warehouse. Everything, AI, everything is literally all carried by those cables. So you can imagine the kind of interest that people have in those. It's just quite insane. Making money in the financial markets by listening to the way the cables transferring data. It's like some Ocean's 11 shit. It really did happen. True story. I diverted. It's still like, you see, it's still hesitating a lot. Look at this. It's hit like 41.62. It's still freaking hesitating. Like, gold doesn't necessarily want to pay anybody out right now, because like gold, when it pays, it pays. It's gonna pay you out, right? Especially when it's moving clean like this, it's gonna pay you out. But right now, it doesn't want to pay anybody out. It's just too choppy. It's way too choppy. Let's see if we can actually pull up a picture of this. Undersea cables world map. Can we actually see it? Oh, nice. Got this. Insane. I think as regular people or regular thinking, we think the internet just survives on a cloud somewhere, right? We think like it's in space or it's in the sky somewhere, but it's actually... Oh, we got an idea, obviously, like fiber optics, but... Yeah, look at this. Which is insane. Imagine the amount of cable that's needed from like one country to the next country, and to the next country, and the next country, and the next country, and next country. Wouldn't it just be easier if we just put satellites into space? Somehow? Or is that lagging? Maybe satellite is like Wi-Fi, and this is more like LAN. So you got like a faster connection. So how your trades are. When you put a trade into the market, it's just a web of... There's a really good movie. It's called the Hummingbird Project. Hummingbird Project, where you can see how your trades are functioning when you put your orders into the market. You see, we never really think about the infrastructure that goes behind this, but man, like, people make millions of dollars if they have even a few milliseconds of speed in the market. It's because it's almost like time traveling. The faster that you can see the data moving, even by a few milliseconds, obviously a human mind can't do this, it's going to be computer, but you can make millions of dollars. So that's why hedge funds and institutions are always competing to see who can have the fastest trading conditions too. You should watch this movie. It's called The Hummingbird Project. Jesse Eisenberg. I'm waiting for the new Now You See Me movie. Really like those movies. Jesse Eisenberg was one of my favorite actors. Close my position at a 2.11 RR when the drop came. Nice. Walk away in the green. It's Friday. I think it's time to call it a day for me. Thanks, Vic. Have a good weekend. Enjoy, Suzanne. You don't want to fight. You don't want to fight the market. That's doing this for sure. Gold trims gains. Let's see what GJ is doing. GJ is bullish. Daily is bearish. Do we got any charts? Easy pips. Watch TFX too many times to know exactly what to do. He would do. Nice. Wow, look at that. Risk to reward. Top of the range, break of the previous lows. Very nice. Look at this. Excellent chart. Very simple, straight to the point. Nice, beautiful range. That was filled. It's like a market fade, but if this candlestick was to just break the lows, this one right here, and just come straight down, then that would be like a market fade entry for price to continue moving down bearish. Then fill that range. Drone debris fall on territory of Novorossiysk grain plant with no critical damage. Russian Defense Ministry, its air defense forces shot down or intercepted a Tu-16 Ukrainian drone overnight. Like, the one thing I've noticed about gold of late, it's not really been driven by this geopolitical tensions. It's almost forgotten about them. It's mainly moving based off of these government shutdowns and these rate decisions. That's kind of the main factor driving price of gold. And also psychological marks like 4,200, I think 4,000 was the previous one that we were playing with. Hey Zimmerman, thank you for the sub. What are we down? 0.13%. It's slowly starting to pick up some pace here. You can see the volume starting to come in again slowly on the daily. How many pips is that? Like 60 pips candle body. I think the main thing is going to be to get through that support, correct? Like by 41.62. Start creating some new lower lows and hopefully price will be off to the races then. And then just kind of like tumble. Do you trade forex pairs? Yeah, I trade gold. Mainly just gold. Just come on my spreadsheet over here and you're going to see this. Mainly just gold. It's 8 my time in Spain, draw a trend line and it just came down and tapped the line and popped up on the 15 chart. Question is, did you take the trade? Did you execute? The range is fully the range is fully mopped up now. See from here. That was a main zone. Look at that, boom, liquidity grab. That was a range to fill. Here. But look at how choppy you did it. But eventually, fill the range. Down towards support. Right over here. See, it's not as clean as this. Let's see, where's this other trade? See how clean that trade was? I filled up the range, no problemo. Look at how nice this is. Volume, clean price action. Beautiful. Look at this. And let's go on analysis over here. What is this? Breakdown. Double top. This is also like an accumulation breakout. I think the main one would be... Oh, but this is a 15-minute time frame, so it's pretty big. Right here. See, because once it broke, it confirmed the direction. You see, that's a volume started coming in again. That's that move. That's the extension here from this zone. So I got your double top, stop loss above, perfect, break of the lows, nice. I wouldn't go short, brother. Entry a bit too late now. Yeah, I'm not getting short now. I'm gonna wait for it to even get more late. You see how you say that the entry is late? I want it to be even more late, so I can get the direction. Because how could you have taken this trade? You know, if you're gonna say like entry was late here, how could you have taken this trade when price was moving like this? How would you have taken that sell? It would probably have shaken you out before it played out too. That's crazy. Teach me. All you gotta know is like prices are moving a lot more further than you think it can, because too high, too low doesn't exist. You know, you just kind of make it up in your head. You can feel like it's too high, too low, and that can give you a kind of like an idea of how good the trade can be. But you know, how many times have you said price was too high and it just kept going up? You know, how many trades would you have missed if price was too low and you thought it was too low and it just kept going down? You know, like if you're gonna see that happen to you a lot of the times, you start to realize the market moves way more than you think it can. Because you know, the whole idea behind trading is not to dictate to the market what the market should do. It's just to execute. So if price goes up, how can you get a buy? You know, think about it this way. If you ever watch like a trading movie, let's say like a tsunami hits Japan and the Japanese yen is tumbling, do you think the traders in Wall Street are saying, oh, price is too low, Japanese yen is too low? No, everybody's thinking, how can we get into these sells? When 9/11 happened and the US dollar was crashing, do you think we're saying, oh, the US dollar is too low right now, this is probably a dip? No, we're thinking, price is moving down, how could I take a sell? You know, there's a huge difference between trading what you think and what you see. Very big difference. And I think, you know, the sooner you know that difference, the better it's going to be. Because you're going to trade what you see, not what you feel. Because a lot of the time, you know, you're going to see price go against you, but you're not going to do anything. Because you feel it's going to go up. But you never manage your risk because you feel it's going to go up, you know. So it's really good mental model to have, because the market will give you options. It will give you warnings and tell you, hey man, you got to manage your risk and you got to listen to those warnings and trade what you see. So if price is giving you a hard time and let's say you take a sell over here, then you have to manage your risk. If price is moving down and it just keeps moving down, then you got to say, okay, I'm going to look for a bearish continuation. Same as if it's moving up. You know, otherwise what typically used to happen to me a lot was in I don't know, like 2021, like GJ used to trend a lot during the pre-London session bearish, and I would always miss those moves because price would just be moving in one direction and I would think this is oversold and it would push another like, I don't know, 20 pips, 30 pips. Then I would think it's oversold and then it would push another 20 pips, 30 pips. And then it's like, you're gonna miss so many moves. And by the time you get confidence to actually take a position, you've missed like everything. That's the problem. It's because we think it's too low until it pushes. And when it keeps pushing, then we take the position when it's already too low. Then that's when it's like starts to pull back up. So that's the thing that you want to avoid in your trading is hesitation. Hesitation is the #1 account killer. Because you're going to come onto the stream, or I mean, to your chart, and you're going to see your trade. You're going to hesitate. You're not going to take the trade. It plays out. Then the next trade that you take is going to be a losing trade. And it happens to all of us. It happened to me yesterday. Literally yesterday. I had my entry confirmation here at the London Open. I was a bit too stiff with my rules, and I said, okay, you know, I want the London to first open. And when I waited for London first open, I missed my trade. I was a bit too stiff with my rules. But you know, that's a similar thing as what a hesitation is, because since I missed that entry, I took the next entry. Can't remember exactly where it was, but I took the next entry and that was a losing trade because I hesitated on my profitable trade. You know, so the market does not like hesitation. So the more clean cut you are about your strategy and what you should be doing, the better. You gotta remove as much analysis paralysis as possible. That analysis paralysis is messing a lot of people up. You're gonna see like prices moving down, but you've done analysis for price to move up, because the higher time frame is a support here, but you see the intraday time frames are moving down. So you're having like too much analysis on the chart, so you get analysis paralysis. For me, it's simple, very simple. If we're moving down, awesome, we're gonna take a sell. Up, take a buy. And that's why I got this indicator here. So this indicator is just going to help you, and it's just going to automate that process for you. So when it says daily bias waiting, just sit on your hands. It's the safest play when it says waiting. Safest play. When it says bullish, safest play is buys. When it says bearish, safest play is sells. Trust me. It will remove the analysis paralysis if that's what you're having trouble with. Yeah, see, GJ, it says waiting. Let's see, AUD, USD, that's 0.9, that's 0.32%. Gold futures is moving right now. It's 0.60%. Oh, wait, is it? Yeah, it's 0.60%. Why is the daily not switching? It should say, that's why, because there's a gap. Yeah, normally if there's a gap, there's something you gotta watch out for. It's not going to be as accurate, because you see there's a gap here, so it's calculating from here to here is 0.61%, but that's because there's a gap. But the actual daily candlestick is more like, I think, negative 0.20%, because it's really small candlestick body. So yeah, I got a small, like, something to look out for. There's a gap. Let's see, German 40 should be bullish. What's going on here? Oh no, it's bearish. Yeah, 0.99%. My bad. Yeah, it's 0.99%. See the daily right now. Look at this. Sells. So if you're gonna look at this, what higher probability? Ask yourself, if you're trading German 40, what's the probability that if you're gonna take a running trade, that it's gonna be your buys are gonna be a running trade, right? What's the probability? With the daily bias being bearish, pretty low probability, I would say. But if you take a sell, what's the probability now that you actually have your running trade play out? Then it increases, because you're trading what you see, not what you feel. That's German 40. It's down negative 1%. Perfect. If gold was like this, amazing. I'll be looking for sells. You got bullish NZD JPY. Let's see, unless there's a gap, there's probably, yeah, there's a gap right over here. You see, when it's off, there's usually like a small gap. A small gap. So it says 0.50%, but it's probably less than that. It's fluctuating here. You see it's fluctuating. So it's more like 0.40% because of the gap. That's from the previous candle to here. You see, that's about like 10%, 11% difference. So that's why we just saw the thing fluctuate here. Oh, is my internet still on? Yeah, but that's why you saw the thing fluctuate there. It's at more like 0.40% right now. It's almost about to start trending. Does the indicator change based on time frame? No, it's just based off of the day and what the current day is doing that you're gonna have a better probability. It's just like a tool, it's just a tool to use. I think it works best usually from the Asia, pre-London, London, because once we start heading into New York Open, the price behaves a bit different during the New York session open, right? You can see how price can roll over during New York session open. So even the indicator says it's bullish, during the NY Open, we typically can see a change in direction. See like what we had yesterday. So I would say from the Asia time to NY Open, it's pretty good to use. Then the other times, you just got to be a bit cautious. If you see price coming down and it says bullish, maybe that's now going to be a lagging indicator, because at the end of the day, indicators are generally speaking lagging indicators. So yeah, that's just something to watch out for. That's all you got to watch out for. German footy should close the gap soon. Yeah, I get you. That's very true. Getting into the momentum, basically. Yep. You see, like right now, if you want to get a running trade, what's the probability you're gonna get a running trade on gold? Like you see, when I say things objectively. I'm not saying things where it's like, oh, you know, you gotta decipher what I'm saying in terms of like if I'm telling you there's an FVG there, and for some reason, you know, that's creating that imbalance and that complicated smart money concept. I'm not trying to convince you about anything. I'm just telling you what we should all just be seeing. You know, I think we can all just agree on this. If we just remove all that noise, I think we could just agree that that just makes the most sense. That if the daily candlestick is going down, you're having a higher probability of catching a running trade to the downside. I don't think that's crazy. That's not crazy, chat. Is that crazy? If price does 200, 500 pips to the downside, what was the probability you're going to catch a running trade to the upside? And that's the whole idea behind TFX concepts, is like genuine, objective advice. I'm not trying to convince you about anything complicated. I'm just telling you what the chart is saying, or what the chart is telling us. If it moves down, it moves down. If it moves up, it moves up. Right now, for example, what's the probability you're going to catch a really good runner? Pretty low in these conditions. Because objectively, people were making a lot of money during this bull run. You see like how price is moving up like this? People were making a lot of money objectively in that bull run. But look at the daily right now. Objectively, how many people are going to make a good amount of money when the daily candle is a doji? As compared to when the daily candles are moving up like this and flowing like that. You know, it's not rocket science. This is why people make so much money during presidential elections, or when tensions are happening, or when macroeconomics are going in play. That's why people make huge trades. Because they can think like this. How is daily bias decided? Just based off like movement. God damn, I'm having a losing streak. Yeah, well, just gotta learn from it. Your advisor's wise. Thank you. Yeah, this is definitely this is pre New York volume. That I think the 4 hour was just waiting to close. You see, the higher time frame also are in play. So don't forget that the 4 hours can also close like a doji. And then you're stuck on the lower time frames wondering why price is not moving. It's just probably because the 4 hour needs a doji candlestick closure. Like you've seen here previously. This is a whole 4 hours on gold where price moved like 57 pips. So I think that's what it was doing. It was just waiting for this to close. And that means that the trades volume probably is going to come in here as we're heading towards like pre-NY. Or we are already in pre-NY. No, in 30 minutes. In 30 minutes, we're going to be in pre-NY. So it looks like the volume was shifted over to pre-NY and the London session was just consolidating. Pre-London had a few moves in it. London session consolidated today. And now the next session you're going to look at is going to be pre-New York. Today, no trade, Vic. I start the session now. Yeah, still no trade. No trade zone. There we go. Yeah, now it should stop moving again. Just gotta take out some lows. Down 0.20%. A few rejection wicks there on the hourly. Got that 4 hour support. It's got some heavy lifting to do through that because it's not clean range. Wow, look at this. Previous 30-minute candles. You had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This 30-minute has no top wick. Like that little V-shaped reversal there. It looks a little cleaner on the 30. But you can tell with the wicks and everything, it was quite jagged. Oh, look at this. Volume is coming in. You can feel it. You can feel it. It's starting to move away from this goat shit. See, it's starting to move again. Come on, let's get through. Let's get through 41.62. 41.62. This is just how I trade, you know, like in general, win or loss. Like this is what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for direction first. Trying to eliminate as much what ifs. We don't like what ifs. In your early days, did you trade any other time frame like 15 or always 1 minute, 5 minute? I used to trade the 5 minute, the 3 minute, up to like 30 minute. 3 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30. I used to try and experiment with the 2 hour and the 1 hour for swing trades, also like 4 hour support levels, like bounces off 4 hour support. But the main execution was done from like anywhere between like 30 minute to 5 minute. Generally, yeah. So bigger stop losses. But the market environment was different though, because like, you know, like a range like this, like you'd get 10 pips on gold easily. Like if you wait for a shotgun play entry, candlestick close below support, for example, like this, you would easily get like 10 pips stop loss above here. And it was not so crazy, but nowadays it's like you sometimes see gold just do this. You know, it can just correct ranges and have really big pushes, or even a candlestick like this could be like 40 pips. So yeah, I think the market environment definitely changed. I think the last time we were seeing 10 pips on gold was in 2024. No, actually, we did a simulation on Monday and we simulated March. Wasn't it March? We did a simulation on March, and March had, like, we were getting like 16 pip stop losses. I think March was when gold started increasing volume from March, and then April we started having a lot more volume or something of the sort. But I remember like in March we were still getting like 16 pip stops. So you can use a 5 minute, you can use a 30 minute, a 15 possibly, because you're gonna get tighter stops. But what I started realizing is, generally speaking, I would still miss on a lot of moves. Because the thing with gold is like when gold moves, it moves, right? So that's when you're going to start like impulsive entries. And with an impulsive entry, you don't get enough information on like a 5 minute or a 15 or 30 minute necessarily, unless a candle closes below support, clean range, and it pulls back up first, top wick, and then it re-breaks the lows to come down nicely. You don't get enough information like you do on the 1 minute. I think the 1 minute gives you the best clues for an impulse entry. Like if anybody is trading, let's say the pre-London time, why do you think pre-London had such a nice move over here? I don't know if people took some sells, because you have beautiful structure on the 1 minute time frame, beautiful little accumulation breakout, you know, but you're gonna see it on the 1 minute. Because I always used to ask myself, how the hell do these moves happen, right? How can you catch such a big candle? Like when candles create like really big candles, how do you catch those moves? Like, because, you know, if you're looking at the 5 minute here, all this is a retracement, Fibonacci retracement, golden zone to continue pushing down bearish, right? Even if you look on the left-hand side, maybe there's nothing too appetizing here on the left-hand side. So I always used to ask myself, like, how can I catch these moves? These like impulsive moves, you know? So you got to investigate. Like, you got to investigate the lower time frames. Because, you know, it's like the universe, you know, the universe started with the Big Bang, right? The Big Bang was something so small, and then it created all of this. So that's why scientists want to understand where the Big Bang happened and how it happened, because it could tell us a lot about all of this as well, right? So like trading is the same thing. So you got to see there's the higher time frame moves, but it's all starting like on the lower time frames, and then it expands out to the higher time frames. Like when you throw a pebble in the river, you know, then you're gonna see the ripples. That's what it is. But if you talk to people who just trade higher time frames, they typically tell you some of the sort like lower time frames are risky, gambling, etc., etc. But they don't understand that the reason they're even having those moves in the first place could be because of a lower time frame 1 minute entry confirmation. So it's all is about like how deep down the rabbit hole do you want to go? How much knowledge do you seek? You know, they say those who seek will find. So it's up to you, you know. So I think it's quite important to read the lower time frames, but with a bit more experience, because a new trader will find this super confusing. So that's why you gotta like, I didn't trade the 1 minutes for like, I think 8 months. 8 months. I used to trade, lowest time frame was like 5 minutes. But you see, when I started trading the 1 minute, I already had experience from how the higher time frames operate. So it was comfortable for me to jump into the lower time frames. But if you're a new trader and you're just starting on the 1 minute, it's just gonna look like spaghetti. But if you give yourself time and you just paper trade the 1 minute and you see how it works, then I think that's the best thing. You're gonna paper trade for like 2 or 3 months. 2 or 3 months. It took me still some time to really get used to the 1 minute time frames. But if you go on my Instagram here, you're gonna go onto my highlights. Wait, let me see if I can actually pull this up. You're gonna go into my highlights over here, and you're gonna go into my live account highlights, and you're gonna see this is from, I think it's gotta load. Oh, it doesn't give you the date. 800. Oh, it doesn't give you the date over here. Oh, you can see the date. Yeah, I see 2022. You can see my journey a bit here from 2022. 2022. 2022. Still the same entry model that I was taking. Still the same trades. I just traded a little bit different, like scaling in, like slightly smaller profits. But that's just how you grow an account, right? You got to start somewhere. But this is all data from 2022. And you're going to see, look at this. It's still the same approach. It's still the same thing that I've been doing. You know, still the same thing. But the only thing that changes is psychology. The psychology kind of changes. You see my SMAs over here. The only thing that changes is just a bit of psychology. But you see, still the same thing. This is the same thing. Because like the whole of 2020, I didn't learn this from a mentor. You know, this is something that I was fucking around with and I was finding out. I was like, okay, you know, something here is working. Something here is working. So I started like implementing this. I was like, okay, so let me just build a psychology trading these moves. You know, look at this small little, what is this? A withdrawal? What is that? Oh, a $600 withdrawal. $600. Yeah, this is IC Markets. Pretty good broker. IC Markets. Yeah, we've been doing this for a while, guys. We've been doing this for a while. TFX concepts. Come on now. Stop playing with me. TFX concepts, bruh. Tell you, the markets don't change. They've been like this. They've been like this. And they'll stay like this. That's why I love the way I trade, is because the markets just operate like this. As long as they're moving up, sideways, and downwards, I think that's all that we need. Beautiful. Look at that little breakout right here. Came in a bit late on this one. Look at that nice little extension there on the breakout. It's quite nice to have this history. Always look back at where you came from and how far you've come. I used to scale in a lot though. As a person who used to watch Raja years ago, it's good to hear his protege on YT nowadays. I don't know, like me and Roger trade quite differently. I think the only thing we got in common is shotgun play entries kind of look similar to a lot of people. It's a pretty nice entry model. The clean ranges goes without saying. Markets like to mirror each other. There are a few similarities like profitable traders share. Because like at the end of the day, if you look at Roger's trade today, what did Roger take? What did Roger take, guys? He took the sell. Go look at Roger's stream. What did he take this trade today? But the way he's going to explain this trade to you is going to be different than how I would explain this trade to you. But he took the sell today. He made like, what, $30,000? Took the sell, the same trade. But he's probably not even looking at the 1 minute. You know, he probably took it based off something else. I don't know what he took it based off, but he probably took it based off like a higher time frame. But you see, profitable traders always like trying to put themselves in these areas of high probability. So the market doesn't know if it's TFX concepts or smart Roger concepts or smart Ricardo concepts. It's going to move, and it moves at a high probability area. So the question is, how can you get a seat at the table? Does your strategy facilitate you to have that seat? Look at this. Candlestick didn't break the previous lows, and it just rejected support over here. Back into the range. That's why I'm still waiting for the daily bias so I can get the safest possible entry, unless we start coming a bit closer into the pre-New York NY session open, because we all know by pre-New York NY open, the market direction can start to shift, and then volume starts to come in again. Maybe it doesn't sell, but it starts pushing up. Easy. Bro, in 5 years from now, I will be like, there's this YouTube guy I do watch. He is master in trading. Thank you, man. We got about 15 minutes left. Yeah. We got 15 minutes left over here. But since we haven't had a move, and I doubt we're gonna have a move in the next few minutes, I might just call it a Friday and then start a good fresh. I really have like some work that I'm doing at this moment. But from next week, Monday, I want to be as consistent as I possibly can. So I really want to try and get some of this work done. But yeah, from next week, that's my goal, is just to come back on the chart, see if I can end off the month with maybe like 15-20%. Right now I'm currently at like 4%. Took a pretty big L yesterday during the pre-New York session time. So yeah, I think for next week I need to try take a few more trades. We got like 2 more weeks, so I think I can do maybe like 15%, 20%. We'll see. We shall see. But remember, guys, nothing on the stream is financial advice. It's all educational purposes. All educational purposes. I have a really bad habit. I have a really bad habit of saying guys. I don't like saying guys. It just comes out. I'm actively trying to remove that word from my vocabulary, but it's so difficult. It's become a habit. It's like a bad habit. Thank you everybody. Everybody sounds better. But just thank you. I think gold will retest 42.15. See, gold cuts gains as data delays cloud Fed outlook. Yeah, it feels like we're in muddy waters right now. Gold prices paired earlier gains to hover around 41.65 per ounce on Friday, though the metal remained on track for a weekly advance of roughly 4%. The market continued to grapple with uncertainty stemming from a significant backlog of US economic data, following the end of the longest government shutdown in the country's history. Concerns have grown that several key releases, mostly notable October CPI and employment figures, may never be published if agencies are unable to finalize reports due to disrupted data collection. Oh, most October CPI and employment figures may never be published if agencies are unable to finalize reports. As a result, investors have scaled back expectations for Federal Reserve easing this year, with money markets assigning roughly 50% probability, which is actually, I think, 49 now, to a December rate cut. What's this? Nice. Nice. 1 minute consolidation. Lows going down. This can be a good trade. Looks like a liquidity grab. Liquidity grab confluence. I'm not like touching this. Look at that though. Crazy, huh? Freaking shock in the water today. Look at that grab over here. It like broke the lows. That would be pretty nice to have that at the back. Because you see, it still respected the lows. It still hasn't even broke these lows by like 41.65. I mean, nice little confluence. Daily is down right now, 0.10%, but not trending. But it does look good as a... one of my favorite confirmations are these grabs. These are the pretty. See, you even had one right here. Look at that grab. And then price, follow through the downside. Got a similar thing happen here. Look at this grab. And then we're expecting as price breaks those lows, maybe we can have the same thing that happened there. Follow through the downside. Liquidity grabs are like such a beautiful entry confirmation, man. Look at this. What happened yesterday during our London Open breakout. What do we have over here? Look at this. Look at what we had over here. Beautiful liquidity grab on the 5-minute time frame. Got those orders in, accumulated, got the sellers stuck in, and then squeezed them out like a lemon. Made some lemon juice out of them here. You see? And it all starts with that little inconsistency, that little liquidity grab, and then it breaks above the highs, squeezing them out. Yeah, you wonder to yourself, why does price have to do this before it starts doing this? So it's such a nice confluence. As you're waiting for your entry confluence. You know, the problem is I got stuck in the liquidity grab. So I became liquidity grab yesterday because I missed that first entry, and then this was me right here. So the lemon was squeezed in the opposite direction now. But you know, I managed my risk. But you see that? Same old thing. So if you're going to take a sell idea here, then you still have that liquidity grab confluence. The price dumped there about like 51 pips. Boom. But typically price shouldn't even... It shouldn't break unless it wants to go in that direction. But sometimes if you're not looking for the buy, then you're going to see this happen. I think it's pretty nice. Yeah, I see it's still respected. So that's why in a situation like this, you got to wait to see if price breaks these lows. Then you know, that's why it shouldn't break unless it wants to go in that direction. So it broke the highs first. So it should go up, technically speaking. But if you're going to use that as liquidity grab confluence and you thought that was a fake out, then it would need to re-break the opposite direction to continue in that direction. But you see, it still didn't break the opposite direction either. But I would just stay away from gold, to be honest, guys. There's a lot of like psychological work that's currently at play right now. They grab this POC of the volume area range to continue bearish. Alright, everybody. I will see you all. I wanted to see you all this weekend for a webinar on stream. But if I can get everything sorted by this weekend, then we're going to have a webinar this weekend. We're going to do a simulation on YouTube and in the exclusive. But if not, then we're just going to do it next weekend. So I appreciate you all tuning in. enjoy your weekend. Be careful, especially those of you who are like $60 away from passing your funded accounts. Today is just not the day. So I'll just come back next week and take care. Take care, everybody. Adios.
Pull up in the whip, no time for the slip. Hold me now, we bout to dip.